one en route. Best of
The flight home to Georgia from Florida had been uneventful for pilot Billy Cranford. Then, with the airport in sight, the plane began to lose power.
And then I saw the runway go out of reach. I knew I wasn't going to make it. Looked at my passenger and said, we are going to crash. This is going to hurt. I remember thinking, man, this is it.
The last thing he remembers is crashing through the trees.
The sound that I'll never forget, that I never want to hear again, is the sound of trees hitting my windshield and my wings.
When he regained consciousness, Billy found his cell phone and called 911.
I got help. Miraculous Healing number 1. Very sure emergency. Yeah, I don't know where I'm at. I'm not in the plane crash. Okay, you've had a plane crash? Yeah. I don't know where I'm at.
Rescue workers can be heard cutting a path through the dense woods trying to reach him. With the 911 operator still on the line, all Billy could do was pray.
Heavenly Father, give me strength to help us. Give me strength to help us.
After almost an hour, rescue workers finally reached the plane and flew him to Atlanta Medical Center. Billy's injuries were extensive. His head and face had sustained several fractures, leaving one eye swollen shut and his brain swelling. His back was broken in 4 places. When his daughter Lindsay arrived, she knew her dad needed God's healing.
You know, almost unrecognizable. It was just like a pleading, like, please, if there's any chance, like, let him be okay. And I didn't just want him to be alive. I wanted him to be okay. And he's super active and, like, he runs around with my kids. And I didn't want him to, you know, miss out on that for the rest of his life.
As people came to show their support and pray, amazing things began to happen. The first came shortly after Billy's pastor prayed at his bedside for Billy's eye to be healed. Ryan, a family friend, was also there and witnessed answer to prayer right before his very eyes.
His eye that was swollen up and couldn't open, and the other eye wasn't in that great shape either. Like, he actually ended up, his eye was fully open a few minutes later. You know, notice that he's actually has both his eyes open, you know, communicating with us.
That same day, doctors told Billy they needed to perform back surgery the next morning.
And I said, Doc, I don't want surgery. He said, well, you have no choice. I said, the Lord's going to heal me. He came by and he tapped me on my shoulder and he said, okay, well, until then, we're having surgery. And as he started to walk out of the room, I said, hey, Doc, I want a second opinion. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take you to MRI right before surgery, and that'll be your second opinion.
That night, a friend organized a prayer meeting on Zoom. 8,000 people joined in.
But we had so many people praying and telling us they were praying, and of course we were praying, and it was just obvious. I mean, every day, you know, there was like a miracle or an answer to prayer.
The next morning, they took Billy in for his MRI. In that short time, his back had already started showing signs of healing.
And he said, well, Mr. Cranford, looks like you may be getting your wish. And I said, how so? He said, well, I think we're going to avoid surgery. I said, praise God. He said, well, the pictures look a little different this morning than they did yesterday. And I said, praise God. And then he shakes, well, we must have gotten some bad pictures yesterday. Yeah, right, Doc, the Lord healed me.
By the end of the week, the brain swelling had subsided. Billy was released to go home to start physical therapy. Today, Billy is fully healed and enjoying the things he loves most, flying and spending time with his family.
Knowing that, you know, he's protected our family and he's using my dad's story, and I think he'll continue to use our story and the Lord's story.
Satan had plans to kill, steal, and destroy that day. But God said, no, I'm going to give him life, and I'm going to give him life more abundantly. And that's exactly what happened.